Heartfelt romance and forbidden love story. Two couples play a daring swapping game. This realistic story is unbelievable, interesting beyond your expectations. Let's start this story. Please subscribe me, thanks. Dive into a heartfelt romance story of forbidden love as two close-knit couples embark on a daring swapping game that tests the limits of friendship, loyalty, and desire. As boundaries blur, hidden passions emerge, leading each character to confront the delicate balance between love and infidelity. This tale explores the complexities of human connection, loyalty, and the thrill of rediscovering love in unexpected ways. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting warm hues over the beach where Latte and Max sat side by side, their hands loosely intertwined. They had been together for years, each step of life's journey taken together. Beside them, Clara and Elias uncorked a bottle of wine, their laughter merging with the soft sounds of the waves. Their friendship had stood the test of time, growing from a simple connection into something deeper, almost like family. But even the closest of friends kept secrets, yearnings buried beneath the surface. As they poured glasses and toasted to the evening, Clara's gaze lingered on Max a moment too long. Latte caught the look, her heart quickening. She had always trusted Clara completely, yet tonight something felt different. As the conversation continued, Elias's hand brushed her shoulder in a way that felt intentional, and Latte felt a thrill she couldn't quite explain. Finally, Clara spoke up, breaking the familiar rhythm of their chatter. "Have you ever wondered," she began softly, looking at each of them in turn, "what it would be like if things were different between us?" A heavy silence settled over the group, charged with both excitement and trepidation. Elias raised an eyebrow, a subtle smile playing on his lips, as if he'd been waiting for someone to ask. Max and Latte exchanged a glance, and Max leaned forward, his voice barely above a whisper. "Are you saying you want to try something new?" Clara's eyes sparkled with a daring edge. "Just one night," she whispered, "to explore something we've all wondered about." In that moment, the comfortable warmth of friendship took on a thrilling, forbidden edge. They all knew, no matter where this led, nothing would ever be the same. The first night brought a change that each of them felt in their bones. Latte found herself walking along the shore with Elias, the evening air cool on her skin. She felt his presence beside her, more magnetic than ever, every touch and word carrying a depth she hadn't noticed before. Elias's voice was low as he shared things he'd never told anyone, his eyes fixed on her with a gentle intensity. With each step, Latte felt herself surrendering, drawn to a side of him she'd never allowed herself to see. Meanwhile, Max and Clara sat alone by the fire, its warmth reflecting in their eyes. Clara's laughter was lighter, freer than Max remembered, and he felt his guard slipping as they spoke about life, dreams, and regrets. For the first time, he saw her not as his girlfriend's friend, but as someone who understood him in a way no one else did. When she reached out, taking his hand in hers, it felt like the most natural thing in the world. They returned to their partners at the end of the night, carrying emotions they couldn't fully understand. Guilt mixed with excitement, and each was left to confront a side of themselves they hadn't known existed. The next morning, Latte woke with a strange sense of wonder and fear. Her thoughts drifted to Elias, to the way his eyes had softened as he looked at her, as if he saw right through her. She loved Max deeply, but her feelings from the night before lingered, leaving her torn between loyalty and desire. She didn't want to hurt Max, yet what she felt with Elias was something she couldn't ignore. Max too was conflicted. Clara had shown him a side of himself he'd nearly forgotten, a part that longed for freedom and depth, yet his love for Latte was unbreakable. The time with Clara had felt as natural as breathing, but his loyalty to Latte was his anchor, the foundation of his heart. As the day wore on, each of them wrestled with their emotions, unable to deny the connections that had formed. They felt seen in ways they hadn't before, but the cost of these feelings was growing clearer. By the final evening, the four gathered around the beach fire once more, each of them carrying the weight of what they had experienced. Clara's eyes met Max's, filled with unspoken understanding, and he realized that while he'd felt a powerful connection with her, his heart belonged to Latte. She had been his companion, his confidant, and he didn't want to lose that for anything in the world. Latte, feeling Elias's presence beside her, realized her own truth. Though she had felt something real with Elias, what she shared with Max was irreplaceable. Elias too looked at her with a soft smile, and in his eyes she saw the same love and loyalty he held for Clara. They took each other's hands as if to ground themselves, and in that moment, the experiment they had set out to explore came full circle. Each of them had been tested, tempted, but they had returned to the people they loved with renewed commitment. As dawn broke over the shore, the four walked together, side by side, their hearts full yet unburdened. They had glimpsed a side of themselves they hadn't known, and though the memories of that weekend would remain, they had chosen to strengthen the bonds they held dear. They left that weekend with a newfound appreciation for love's delicate, complicated nature. A love deepened not by its boundaries, but by the shared experience of testing them and returning to one another.